The Yeah We Know podcast. It has something for everyone.
I just don't know. I don't know what to think. I don't get it yet.
Read your history books, Chris. You're older than all of us on this podcast. Dudes always get squashed in their hometown. That's the way it goes down in professional wrestling. Edge is from Ottawa, and he got his ass handed to him last night on Raw.
I mean, it feels like there's this inside thing that I just not aware of or understand.
That is a perfect day one WrestleMania opening match. The Yeah We Know podcast. 3 guys who can't wrestle, who can talk, in their basements.
Hello, Internet. The Morgan You Know Podcast Network presents Balls and Brew.
Welcome in to what is sure to be another rousing and fun rendition of the flagship sports podcast here on the Morgan You Know Podcasting Network. I am your affable host. My name is Rod Morgan. I am back. Want to send out much thanks to the fellas in my stead. Last week, you guys did a fabulous job. You were trying to Wally pit me, and I really don't appreciate it. So you're going to get some vitriol from me in this podcast. Just know that coming out. But first, I got to throw it to my right-hand man, the producer of this podcast and every other podcast on the Morgan You Know Podcasting Network. He also hosts our wrestling podcast. And folks, if you aren't wrestling fans, you may want to tune in for that one because I have a feeling it's going to be entertaining. But right now, we're going to make him talk about sports named college basketball and golf first. It's Jimmy Jamriska.
We had an amazing weekend of championships won, championships lost, and thumbs to the neck, Rod. I love it.
We certainly did. Thumbs to the neck is another allusion to another podcast. We're going to tease you hard to check that one out because I promise you it's going to be a lot of fun. But if we're talking about college basketball, you know we have to welcome back the handicapper, Josh Williams. Mr. Williams, did you enjoy your Final Four weekend?
Yeah, man. I wish I could have gave out in Thanksgiving. I took a 30-1 future on UConn to win the national championship. So that was awesome. But then I went on here on the pod and said, UConn doesn't have it in them. So totally backtracking on what I saw in real life. They just smashed through the non-conference. They beat 17 non-conference teams, all by double digits this year, but then they lost 8 games in conference this year. They're one of the weirdest national champions ever, but I saw that they were just smashing teams earlier in the year, took a shot on them. I thought that ticket was dead in conference, and then they come out here and just roll through everybody not from the Big East and win another national championship. So, yeah. Shout outs to UConn. The last 3 UConn championships, they've kind of got lucky here. They beat a 5 seed, an 8 seed, and an 8 seed for the last 3 national championships. So, I mean, you can only play who's in front of you, but get a little fortunate there.
Jimmy, you're going to have to refresh my memory because unfortunately we've had to deal with this now numerous times where do we take credit for Williams being smart enough to make that UConn bet or do we not because he didn't give it out on the podcast? Like, unfortunately, he's doing his best stuff and not giving it to us, Jim. And again, I know we don't pay him, but how are we supposed to feel about this?
We should feel pretty bad, honestly, about it. Williams, you know, you do have a microphone once a week for like 25 weeks in a row. Anytime. You could have circled back and just said, hey, UConn's going to win the national championship in men's. It's all good. But no, you didn't. Thanks.
Waves, defend yourself.
See, Williams can't defend himself because he can't even unmute his fucking microphone. That's the issue.
Sorry. First time I've done that. Yeah, so we talked about UConn being a little fortunate this year. I think that, or in the tournament, I think that, man, the game that we really missed out on, that the fans missed out on, was Kansas versus UConn. Should have happened in the Sweet 16. Bill Self gets a couple stints put in his chest so he doesn't coach this tournament. We thought that he was going to be all right. Kansas, we talked about this, 10-0 when having 5 days off to prepare for UConn. They would have had 6 days off to prepare for UConn, and Kansas was 7-0 versus teams from the tournament when having 5 days to prepare for them. So I was worried about UConn's coaching in close games. They never had a close game. I was a believer in the talent.
What are we supposed to think about that? Are we supposed to think that they got lucky with their opponents or that they're a pretty good squad? Where do you land on that?
I'm in the middle. Like they clearly
Shocking.
had.
You're riding the fence, Williams. Shocking.
They clearly had the most talent, but I feel like they got fortunate that they didn't have to play Kansas. They didn't have to play a healthy UCLA team with Jalen Clark. They didn't have to play Houston. The ball pressure from Houston, I think, would have got them, but they didn't have to play any of those teams. They didn't have to end up playing Texas or Bama either. So they were a little fortunate, but they were clearly the best team once they got to the Final Four.
All right, let me ask you this question then, because I'm a little bit selfish when it comes to this podcast. It is the Morgan Podcasting Network after all. I'm more of an NBA guy. You said that you thought this UConn team might be a little bit more talented. Do we have any NBA talent on this UConn team? Am I going to be seeing any of these guys playing in my beloved association here anytime soon?
Yeah, Jordan Hawkins, he'll be he's like a poor man's Klay Thompson. He's a really, really good shooter. Needs to probably gain about 10, 15 pounds body weight, upper body weight, but he can come around the screens and shoot it lights out, man. And UConn has a couple other shooters. They probably have a couple other guys, but it's down the road. But yeah, you'll be remembering Jordan Hawkins' name possibly next year, as early as next year.
Let me ask you about the other team that made it to the finals, San Diego State. They've been pretty strong here in the last couple of years, actually. They've made a few good appearances in this tournament. Are we seeing the rise of the Aztecs as a big-time program out there, West?
They're going to lose a few guys. It was pretty wild. They had always made it to the Sweet 16, but this was the first time a Mountain West team had made it past the Elite Eight ever. Remember back in 1990 when UNLV won it all, they were not part of the Mountain West, so they don't count. I know they're in the Mountain West now, but yeah, San Diego State was the first.
That Run and Revs team doesn't count in a lot of different ways, actually. Yeah. I think some of those games have been stricken from the record as well, but we love the Shark.
Yeah, Shark is still biting on the towel there, but yeah. I think if you're going to throw out any team that could make another deep run next year is Florida Atlantic, man. They return 8 out of 9 starters. That's if none of them go to the transfer portal. They extended their coach. Everyone thought maybe he could leave, but he comes back. And they moved to the American Athletic Conference. Houston moves out of that. Houston is going to move to the Big 12. So the Florida Atlantic is probably going to be the favorite in the American Athletic Conference next year, if you can believe that. Shout out Boca Raton.
Listen, if there's one thing I love, Williams, it's AAC basketball. You know what I'm saying? I can't get enough of it, so I appreciate that. Mr. Williams, do you have any more nuggets on the tournament that you want to drop to us, or are we okay to say goodbye to the tournament like one Mr. Jim Nance said goodbye to the tournament this year?
Yeah, I just hope next year they do a better job with the seeding. We said right from the start that Memphis Florida Atlantic should have never been a 8-9 game. That game was awesome, but I mean, Memphis shouldn't have been out in the first round. Memphis could have easily been playing in the Final Four there. So, yeah, the committee just needs to do a better job with the seeding wise next year. But that's almost every year. So. Hopefully,
yeah, we've been on that, man. They need to stop trying to keep the little guy down. Absolutely. It's ridiculous because it would have been so fun to see that great Florida Atlantic Memphis game on into the Sweet 16 or maybe even the Elite Eight. So come on, tournament committee, do better. But the NCAA very rarely, almost never does better on anything. So we're certainly not going to see anything great there. As we said, Jim Nance says goodbye to the tournament. But when Mr. Nance says goodbye to the tournament, he tunes his eye to the south and we see the azaleas in bloom. And we smell the magnolia in the air, and our sandwiches are pimento cheese, and our tea is sweet, and our jackets are green. And if we're talking about the Masters, we're bringing our dear old friend from out there in the desert. He's our golf pro. He's our guy. He's Matt Roberts. Matthew, hello.
Hello, Roderick. How are you, sir?
I'm lovely. It's wonderful to see you because we have a video component now where we can see. It's lovely to see you. It's lovely to talk to you, my friend. And it is Masters Week. I know you're probably a little bit more excited than me, but you know that I'm awfully excited for the Masters. And we have our handicapper here, Josh Williams, who's been crunching out the numbers on the Masters. So we're gonna have a pros look at the Masters, and that's you, Mr. Roberts, and we're gonna have a handicapper's look at the Masters. That's some exciting stuff this year. We're going big.
I love that. I don't like to crunch numbers. I'm not good at math. I'm a gut player. So I'm just kind of going off what I see here. But yeah, I mean, Monday morning, live at the Masters from the range, watching the guys warm up. It doesn't get any better. I mean, I don't know if that makes me a degenerate or not. I'm watching guys warm up at Augusta at 8 o'clock in the morning, my time, and grinning ear to ear. It's marvelous.
Oh, absolutely. I'm totally excited for the Masters. Let me throw it over to Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, when you began crunching the numbers for the Masters, what did you look at as the important numbers you wanted to look at when you started putting your figures together?
Yeah, it's always. It's a second shot course. It seems like there's going to be a ton of weather in play here. Possibly Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We could possibly. I know it's supposed to end on Easter Sunday, but this could possibly end on Monday. Just in case you guys are working on Monday. That's the weather looks pretty nasty here. So yeah, strokes gained off the tee. Always something to look at. I got all kinds of stats here, so whatever you guys want to get to. Right. Tigers made the cut in 23 of 24 Masters. Let's go, Tiger.
This is the Morgan podcast. We're certainly going to get to Tiger at some point, but let's throw it over to our pro, Mr. Roberts. Who do you like right now? Who's your gut feeling? Are you liking somebody who's hot? Or are you liking somebody who's due? Because I've seen you go both ways on this podcast in the past.
I don't want to split right down the middle, but I feel like that. I think you can't not look at the guys that are playing well right now. I mean, we all thought Scotty Scheffler was having a tear last year, and all he's done is continue. He's kind of one of those guys. I wouldn't mind seeing him win a back-to-back. In my heart of heart, Rod, and I think you'll agree with me on this, I'm fucking dying for the day Rory slips that green jacket on. In my opinion, there would be absolutely nothing better than Brooks Koepka, Rory McIlroy, Sunday afternoon, tied going into Augusta, and watch that. That would be the most incredible thing that could happen.
Yes, listen, I used to be a Brooks supporter, and I am no longer a supporter of anyone associated with Live Golf. So for the chance for Rory, who's been right there on our side, well, maybe not, I don't want to speak for you, Mr. Roberts, but on my side, being anti the Live Golf Tour and having plenty of things to say about him, that would be absolutely fabulous. Mr. Williams, I see you raising your hand, sir. I appreciate that.
Yeah, there's only been 2 instances where a golfer won his first Masters after his 15th try there. That's Mark O'Meara and Sergio Garcia. Why is that significant? Rory tries to complete the Grand Slam in his 15th year at the Masters.
Look out. Mark O'Meara. If you would have thought that we'd have gotten to Mark O'Meara before, I guess we got to Tiger before we got to Mark O'Meara, but if you thought we'd have gotten to him before, let's say we get to Phil Mickelson, right? That you wouldn't have guessed that probably, Mr. Roberts. Mark O'Meara shout out. I know you're a fan.
Hey man, had one of the greatest bald 10 headlines I've ever seen in my life. So, I'm going to root for that guy. Yeah, that was probably about as improbable win as there probably had been in a long time, seeing Mark O'Meara win the Masters. Anybody that listens to this probably doesn't even know who Mark O'Meara is, except for you and I, Rod.
That's true. There's somebody out there. There's somebody out there that listens to Mark O'Meara. Hit us up on one of our social media channels and show us your Mark O'Meara fan cave. We know you got one out there. All right. I loved hearing Sergio there because that's another thing with the Masters. We have so many victories that just tug at the heartstrings. Sergio getting it done, even though he's now kind of gone back to being a douche again after winning at the Masters. But we were also happy for him that one year that he did it. Tiger's phenomenal first win. Tiger's phenomenal last win. And many other Tiger wins. Phil's first win. Freddie Couples, Jack Nicklaus winning the old one. Who would be your tug at the heartstrings winner this year other than Rory McIlroy? Is it Jon Rahm? Because I'm just going to put words in your mouth and hope that it's Jon Rahm.
No, I mean, the ultimate is tug at my heartstrings. I mean, I flipping cried the last time Tiger won the Masters. So, I mean, that's always going to get me, but Rory would be the one to get me. I think it would be like the Steve Young monkey off the back. It frees him up. And honestly, I think if Rory would win the Masters, all he does is turn around and win 40 tournaments in a row after that. Like he's just loose, ready to rock. So that would be my sentimental, but I'm always going to have, in the back of my head, Tiger.
Mr. Williams, who's somebody your numbers are looking at that we've yet to mention?
When you talk about the favorites, the only time the lead favorite has won the Masters in the last 30 years, Tiger in 05, Tiger in 02, Tiger in 01, Tiger in 97, and then Fred Couples back in 1992. So there was, shout out Fred Couples. Between 07 and 11 is when you had some long shots come in. It's weird that was like a 5-year stretch. You had Schwartzel at 100-1 in 2011. You had Zach Johnson 125-1 in 07. Angel Cabrera 125-1 in 09, and then you have Trevor Immelman at the longest shot 150-1 in 08. So it's weird that there was like a 5-year stretch there where it was just all like long shots there. But usually it's somebody who's coming in hot, like Robert said, usually like top 25 in strokes gained. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going on here.
All right, Roberts, I'm going to throw two more names out at you, and these are guys that I bring up quite often because they're my sentimental favorites, right? I'm going to talk to you about a Tony Finau, and I'm going to talk to you about a Ricky Fowler. Do I got a shot with either one of them cashing in?
You got more of a shot with Tony because I'm not 100% sure Ricky's in the field.
That's a bummer.
I don't
for
think
my
he
guy.
got in. He had to win last week to get in, and he did not win. So.
Yeah, Fowler's not in.
That's a
Yeah,
bummer for my
Tony.
guy.
I mean,
He'd
he
be wearing
plays
a
well.
slick Falcons outfit. Does he still wear the NFL stuff? Would he be wearing a slick Falcons outfit?
Ricky?
Yeah, doesn't he used to wear like NFL themed stuff? Didn't he do the Payne Stewart for a while?
Puma.
No,
He wears the Puma, the orange Puma.
Always in orange.
Oh.
He doesn't really do that anymore either. So, I mean, you guess he wears a lot of Oklahoma State stuff. But, went to school there.
He's a man. He's 40.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have, been on the PGA Full Swing documentary. I don't know if you took that in. If you didn't like Tony Finau before or didn't know who he was, in my opinion, he stole the show.
Okay.
That guy was incredible on there. His family structure, what they do for him, what he does for them. I'd love to see him play well. I mean, we all remember when he blew out his ankle on the par 3 course and pops it back in and goes, I think, finished top 5 that year. So, I mean, he's got some game around there. I know we talk about strokes gained. Williams, you're going to say that to me, but it's also those guys, those are the wonkiest greens on the planet. So you get a guy who can work the ball, a guy that can putt, a guy that can bomb it. Tony Finau's right in there. He could be in the mix. I like Tony Finau there. I think he always plays well. Yeah, it could happen. But Ricky, I mean, unless something drastic happens that he becomes a member of Augusta and qualifies by Thursday, I don't think he's getting in.
Oh man, that's a bummer. I should have done a little more research before I asked that question, but it's just
I knew it was coming at some point.
See, I already mentioned Rahm earlier, right? We're not going to talk about Phil as much as I love Phil. Tiger, we've talked about a little bit. Mr. Williams, give us a couple of bets that look like pretty good bets to you, not necessarily winner bets.
Yeah, this is I love this guy, top 10. There's a list of players who have gained the most strokes relative to their baseline at Augusta, adjusted for rounds played. Top 7 is a guy named Willie Zalatoris, and he's going to be an awesome DFS play this week also, under 5%. Roberts hates it. He hates it. Tell me why.
Back, Roberts, why? Why do we not like it?
He doesn't like his putting, I'm going to guess.
Have you seen him putt this year?
Okay, so my pushback on that is if it's going to be extra rainy.
Casually good his strokes gained putting aren't terrible, but that stroke is atrocious.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's projecting out well in some of the metrics that I'm seeing. So yeah, we'll see on that. And he's supposed to be super low owned. That's more DFS game theory style. So, but yeah, top 10, you can get him plus 320. I kind of like that. Yeah, but I understand the putting thing.
All right, Mr. Roberts, give us a number. What do you think with the rain that we're talking about? Give us a number. What do you think the cut's going to be at, I guess? Let's do it that way.
I mean, if it stays rainy and, we won't even get into ball roll back here, but those guys that can bomb it and keep it in the fairway, they're throwing darts at greens. I mean, the worst thing that could happen for this tournament is it be soaked. I mean, cut-wise, if it's like that, you're probably looking 4 or 5, my guess. If it's dry, you might be down in that 1-2 region, maybe 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because we talk about it so often, that the game with these big hitters, right? Like that, if you can get it out there and you can keep it in the fairway, it is just that much of an advantage. And then you say the wonky greens, which is where Augusta tries to bring it back and take it away from those guys that can bomb it. If you're going to be able to stick those with, wedge 9, 8, at the worst from anywhere on the fairway, I mean, we could see a guy putting up a double digit win, right, of under par, which doesn't happen at Augusta very often.
No, you could see the scores real low if it gets wet like that. Because, I mean, those guys from 100 yards in, 150 yards are incredible. And if they're not worried about a ball rolling back or not biting, I mean, they're just going to attack pins. But it's a Masters week. We got to talk about Augusta's sub-air fans underneath the greens. They can control the firmness, the wet, the moisture, all that underneath. So, it'd have to be monsoon season to really affect those greens. So.
All right, Williams, give us a couple more Tiger nuggets. I bet you got a couple more Tiger nuggets. Anything else for us on Tiger?
Well, I had one that most people won't know about, It's top amateur. I got this guy, Gordon Sargent. He got a special exemption after he won the NCAA championship title as a freshman.
Whoa.
At Vandy. The kid can play. He's from what I've seen, he's by far the best amateur out on the field. You can still get him at plus odds, but sharps are really hitting that number. So if you can find it at plus money, I mean that would be one bet that I would advise on.
Roberts, I bet you got a scouting report on this guy. Let's have it.
The kid's an absolute stud, but he is also a part of my favorite news story to come out of Augusta this week. He was confused for a finalist in the drive, chip, and putt contest that was being held over the weekend before, and he went to go ask about where the player dining was, and they sent him with all the kids. And he's there to play in the big boy tournament. So he got a good chuckle out of it, and that's my favorite story so far this week.
Oh, nice. Well, it sounds like he's a good shit, so we don't bust his chops if he took that well. That's good. Because we need more cool people on the PGA Tour to follow. We need a good story at Augusta. Mr. Williams, who are you going to predict to our listeners is going to win? You gave out a top 10. You gave out a top amateur. Come on. Feet to the fire, my friend. What do you got?
Oh, man. I'm going off the board slightly. This guy has if you're on him, he has a tendency to collapse late, but I have some faith in him here. I'm going to go Xander Schauffele gets it done at the Masters.
Xander, the handicapper, gives out Xanders. Josh, I appreciate you so much for giving us some Masters handicapping, telling us all about the tournament. We, I guess we'll check back in with you maybe around NFL draft time. I think that's usually the next time that we hear from Mr. Williams with some draft nuggets. So thank you very much for your participation this evening, my friend.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
And Mr. Roberts, my friend, the Masters, any parting words on the beauty, the majesty that is Masters weekend before we say goodbye and let you get back to you still have plenty of time out there in the desert. You got a whole night ahead of you out there.
Oh, man, the night is young for me out here. No, I think my parting shot is just it's probably one of the prettiest tournaments you can watch all year. So even if you just want to see some cool flowers or some scenery and then some guys smash a golf ball around a little bit, it's one of the fun ones to watch. And one thing that we did neglect to talk about on this though is Jordan Spieth's streak of winning on Easter. If this continues, he's won the last two Easters. Sunday is Easter.
All
Has
right,
he risen?
Has he risen? Look at you. So did we get your official pick? Did I make you give your official pick at the beginning? All right. So who are you going to give as your official pick then?
I think for the first time in a long time, we're going to see a repeat winner. I think Scotty's going to take it.
Okay.
I think he's just nails right now. Yep. It hasn't been done, I think, since Tiger probably?
Yeah. Just, like in basketball, you can say Wilt Chamberlain, like anytime you're just guessing a record, right? With golf, you could probably say Tiger Woods and you're probably okay.
Yeah, I think so. And also, his name was brought up earlier. How about shout out to Angel Cabrera getting out of jail? He's, trying to get back playing golf again. You don't get to talk a lot about,
we need Angel back. That guy was always a character.
Yeah, look, good for him.
And speaking of characters, our guy Chris King was unable to join us this time. Mr. Roberts, I know you were probably disappointed in that. You couldn't take any shots at the old man. I know you always enjoy that.
Well, he was there when golf was invented, so I don't have anything bad to say about him.
That is very true. But he is going to join us on the other side here when Mr. Jim Riska takes over and drives us on the NBA Fast Break.
Welcome to the Fast Break, the fastest 15 or so minutes in the NBA. You are on Balls and Brew. I am Jimmy. Rod and Chris are here as always. Gentlemen, we are in the final week. We are NBA Fantasy Championship week. We have so much to talk about, but of course, Rod, we are going to talk about lighten it up. Not that, Rod. The Sacramento Kings are 6-4 in their last 10. They have two possible all NBA players on their team, and they are looking at the Warriors right now in the first round of the playoffs. That could change by the time this podcast ends. Rod, how you feeling about our Kings, especially after that loss to the Spurs?
Yeah, that was ugly, right? Like I had a hope in my heart that maybe the Kings were going to sneak up and take that number 2 seed because they're still technically not mathematically eliminated from it. So they still, but it's probably not going to happen. You're right. They're locked into the Warriors. But here would be my thought on that. Are we 100% sure that they should be worried about playing the Golden State Warriors at this point, right? We're hearing so much talk about the Kings are a pushover. The Warriors have all the championship medal. While that may be true, the Kings have played far superior basketball to the Golden State Warriors. And Chris, you talked about this last week. Golden State has 9 victories on the road, and the Sacramento Kings are the only team in the West that has an above 500 road record. So I'm fired up about the matchup. How you feeling about the Beam Lighters?
Yeah, listen, I'm kind of with you. I don't get scared with the Warriors at all. I really do think that that's a team that doesn't play great defense. And if you want to beat the Kings in a series, you better play some great defense because their offense is going to be that good.
Yeah, I'm not, and with the Wiggins situation, I'm really the Kings are doing okay against the Warriors. If you're going to play the Warriors, you want to play them first because Wiggins is probably going to come back, but there might be some transition to go in there. Very interesting next couple of days for the Kings, and of course,
take the over. If the Kings and the Warriors play in the first round of the playoffs, just take the over. Every game they play in, just take the over, and you'll probably be fine. We have to do something about this situation. The momentum is dying. I don't understand no more distractions, but I do believe we should all follow one path in life. Hubris and ego and pride. Sorry, all that was a complete lie. I don't often swing at organizations. I tend to pick out idiotic comments by one person or a bad decision by a person or a coach. But this time I've got to swing at the big boys, the NBA themselves, the guys up in Secaucus when they were carving out the new collective bargaining agreement with the players. Absolutely, completely caved in to the everybody gets ice cream, everybody gets a trophy, and well, actually this stat nerd crowd on Twitter and completely threw the entire history of the all NBA into a trash can, set it on fire, and proceeded to piss on it by allowing the all NBA team to be positionless. This is completely a joke. There is something to be said for being the top 2 guards. Sure, there's 4 or 5 great guards in the league in one season, but having to make the choice for who the top 2 were for the first team meant something. I'm sorry, Joel Embiid, who everyone knows I love. I'm sorry that you got beat out for first team last year because only centers could make it. One on the first team, one on the second. This positionless stuff is ridiculous. It already exists in the MVP ballot. You have it 1 through 5 for a reason, so you could pick out who the 5 best players in the league were that way. This all positionless stuff is nonsense, absolute nonsense. We're going to have years where 4 centers are going to be on the first team, 3 guards, 2 forwards. It's going to be absolute ridiculousness. I understand that we needed to address the strict position implements on the All-NBA team due to the new form of basketball that is played, but we took it entirely too far because a bunch of nerds on Twitter said we had to. Shame on you, NBA.
I don't like it either. I agree with Rod. You need to have a distinction between guards, forwards, centers. I don't think it has to do with needing more than one center on the first team as much as it is this new all-purpose type unicorn player who is almost 7 foot, handles the ball, plays the center position or guards the center on the other side. I mean, you have guys like Giannis or Luka who don't necessarily fit into a particular position all the time, but still, you put them as a forward or a guard, those guys aren't centers, and you move on. You gotta have positions. We have positions in basketball. That's how it is. You have to have positions in all NBA.
All right, Chris, I appreciate that. Rod, I can't believe you and Chris are actually agreeing on something for once. This is what's going on? Are you an old man or is he younger?
It's really hard to tell because, to be quite honest, back in Chris's original days, the All NBA was positionless. I believe it was 1949 to 1955. It was positionless, and then they switched it up. So I guess he's not really a traditionalist here. He's more on my side of the fence as the youngsters, I guess, would be my only thing there. And I have a little more.
It was like prohibition.
Yeah, there you go.
It was like prohibition. They tried it. It didn't work out. We went back.
I have a little more flexibility, though. I'd be willing to go to a guard front court type situation, right? Because, Jimmy, I hear what you're saying. Jokic is a center, but he runs the team, so you could say he's a guard if you wanted to, but he still basically plays center because we have ways of tracking what position guys play in. But I'd be fine if you wanted to give me guard front court. You know what I mean? You want to do guard wing big, you know what I mean? And you got to have 2-2-1 of that. Like I'd have been willing for some sort of a give, but this just no positions whatsoever just has me burned. And
maybe back court versus front court. Then you got three positions that can either be forwards or centers at that point in time. Sure. And you still have your two guards essentially in the backcourt. So backcourt, front court, that'd be as close as I would get to positionless.
So I believe the people who vote for All NBA are also the people who vote for the MVP. So my question is, if you have to have 5 people on the MVP, right? Isn't that your first team every single year? First team in All NBA, your 5 MVP candidates? Why isn't that it right now moving forward?
Well, I think
No, because if you have 2 centers in that MVP discussion or 3, then no.
Why not? They can be.
If a center wins MVP, he's going to be he's got to be first team All NBA.
Yeah.
You're not going to give the first team All NBA to a guy that was second in the MVP voting to a guy in his same position.
Yeah, but wouldn't you give? But so you've got 5 positions in All NBA moving forward. It's positionless. So those 5 people. Let's look at our MVP table. We're going to kind of combine things here because why the hell not? It's our show. We can. The MVP table. We had last week, we had Embiid, Jokic, Giannis, Sabonis, and SGA was at our table. Why isn't that our first team All-NBA? If that's the 5 most important people in the league, why isn't that the first team All-NBA then, Chris?
Because you can't have 3 centers on the All-NBA.
Oh my God,
team.
you can! Moving forward.
You have the MVP, which is a positionless award. The All-NBA should be position based. That way, like Rod said, it needs to be.
Oh my God. Rod,
listen, Jimmy, I'm gonna further blow your mind here, Jimmy. I'm gonna further blow your mind. I support Shea being at the MVP table, but I do not have Shea as one of my first 2 All NBA guards. Because I am with Chris here, and what I was trying to argue for, I think the All NBA speaks to the best at positions, right? That's what the All NBA is, right? It's not
anymore.
Okay, it's not, and that's fine. And I'm saying, but what I still believe it should be, here's the first set of best guards, here's the second set of best guards, and here's the third. Here's the first set of forwards, and so on, right? And I think another part of the argument that you're trying to get at here, Jim, and I think it can be articulated this way, DeAndre Jordan was a third-team All-NBA center numerous times, sometimes first team because of the dearth of centers at times, and so people will use that as an argument as well, that then he can get bounced off. So I see it from both ends, but I like the idea of you've got to be one of the best guards. And I don't have Shea as one of the best guards in the NBA, but I have him as an MVP candidate because the Thunder would be nothing without him.
All right, so the MVP table, we're going to get back to the new collective bargaining agreement here in a second, but since we're talking about the MVP table, Rod, we didn't get a chance to get your opinions on some of this. Embiid did not play against Jokic. Embiid has not played in Denver. I think he's only played in Denver twice in his career, maybe once in his career. Is that enough for you to knock Embiid off, or it's an 82-game season, Embiid's the best?
No, it's not enough for me to knock Embiid off. I mean, I'm certainly pro Embiid. I've been a champion of his fan club for quite a long time. But, listen, Denver is a different thing for people, all right? And we just can't be quick to rush judgment on folks, right? Some folks can't play out there in that mountain air, and Joel Embiid's had a lot of injuries over his career. And if he needs to sit out in Denver, that's fine. I'm not going to come after him, Jim. I'm not. I'm sure you're shocked to hear me take that take.
I'm very shocked. SGA on the list. I was fortunate enough to go see the Pacers and Thunder play in Indianapolis, where the Pacers defeated the Thunder without Tyrese Halliburton. You're welcome, Rod, and or Miles Turner on their team. I will tell you, Shy. had a quiet 39 points. He just comes down and scores all the time. Very solid overall. He was the leader of that team. Still young, but without him, I think they would just be levels and levels below. Chris King, are you still on Embiid? And then what do you think about Shai still being on the MVP table?
Yeah, Embiid's still head of the table for me. And yeah, Shai, you're right. A quiet 39. He's been almost too under the radar because he's been so consistent the whole year. There's been no ups or downs or anything. Like, he's just scoring 30 points a night in, night out, leading that team. And you're right. If he wasn't there, they'd be right down there with Detroit, Houston, San Antonio.
What do we think about games played, Jimmy? Do you take that into account when we're talking MVP table? Because I know I did when we got to All NBA.
So I did a little bit with All NBA. It was really tough for me in a couple of them. So the new collective bargaining agreement says you have to have at least 65 games played, but there is a huge asterisk on that. Yeah. Huge asterisk. It's actually it's a number that doesn't matter.
It's going to end up being another fight, another point of contention that people are going to fight about.
Because, well, if your team has decided to shut you down, it doesn't really count. Or if this happens, or if that happens. I liked having a hard number at 65. I think the condition should be in the games that basically if you played a minute in a game, that game does not count as a game played. It needs to be something along the lines of what is your normal minutes. And a percentage of that, that's fine because not everyone's going to play all the time.
Talking to you, AC Green, your fraudulent game started streak that was just minutes and then you'd be taken out of the game, never to be seen again late in your career. We're talking to you here, AC Green.
Yeah, or Kawhi. See, it's weird from like last week when Kawhi didn't play in the second half. To me, that's fine. And actually, that's probably better for load management than anything else because you're still moving around. You're still
a pioneer again, Jimmy. Kawhi, a pioneer of load management again.
Oh, when that happened, I could see the internet just blowing up on that. But again, you still got to see him play. I like the 65 games played, but this little like asterisk stuff.
It's too many, man. Because as I got to looking at it's too many.
Yeah,
I got to looking at the numbers this year. I got to looking at the numbers this year. Do you know how many great guys from this year are just off? And if the number was at 55, how many more great guys then get put into the discussion? 65 is too high of a number. I'm sorry. I wish it wasn't. We've argued about this all the time. But we got to live in the now. We got to accept the future, the way these guys play, the way the medical staff handles these guys these days, the way AAU beats on their bodies because one Zion Williamson is 23 years old and has less than 100 games played. I mean, so we just have to be real about this. The number should be at 55 because that puts them at least above 50%. And that's really going to be the best we're going to be able to do, I think.
Another thing that came out, Chris King, is an in-season tournament that we do not have all of the information for. But the weird thing is 30 is not divisible in tournament for. You have to have 32, you have to have 28. You can't have 30. So it could lead to one team having to play more games than every other team in the NBA. Now, again, this is all just small stuff. We haven't heard the entire details yet. What do you think about the in-season tournament, and what could they possibly give any team to have them care about this in-season tournament, Chris?
They're taking after European football is what they're taking after, and that's to try and prevent tanking. You have essentially 2 championships a year now. You have the best regular season, and then you have that in-season tournament that culminates in a championship. And the way in Europe, the way they do it is a home and home, and it's total goals scored versus against. In the NBA, you'd have to do.
Is this Stadio? What's happening right now? Is this Stadio? I thought this was the fast break.
Anyways, you'd have to do like a best of 3 for each team. I don't know how you would work it out with 30 teams. You may have to have somebody miss out, or I don't know. But that's what they're trying to do.
Rod, it sounds like a lot of people want a lot of trophies. Again, I don't see the point unless I know I've heard some things. If you guarantee a playoff spot for somebody, or you guarantee you give extra money to bring somebody in. But again, do the players care about that? The playoff spot, they probably do.
No, the players don't care about it, but here's the bottom line. You still have a contractual agreement with the players to play 82 games. So however Adam Silver wants to package up a couple of those regular season games, it doesn't really matter to me. So if they want to put some lipstick on a turd and tell me that it's the David J. Stern Cup, good for them, man. You know, if TNT wants to play a couple more million to get that on, you know, over a Thanksgiving weekend, you know, whatever it happens to be, I guess that wouldn't be the midseason tournament. More around Christmas time, I guess, is when they'd be trying to do it. Fine, whatever. Good for the NBA. Whatever innovation they want to do to try to make things seem a bit more important and a bit more not as throwawayable. That's a really great way that I just saved that one right there. As most regular season NBA games, I'm for it.
Well, they're going to try. They want to do this so they can eliminate that playoff structure at the end of the season. They want to have this in-season tournament that eventually will involve all teams, so all teams will have a chance at this tournament every year.
And that's not the question I was asked. I'm not for that, and that wasn't the question I was
know.
asked. I don't
just
appreciate
saying.
you trying to turn this into a soccer argument again. And notice I said soccer because I'm American. I am not from Canada or somewhere else. I said soccer.
Soccer originated in Britain.
Oh, God. All right, so let's sound those trumpets for the Kings hardwood hierarchy.
For the win.
Chris King, last week we had the Grizzlies the Kings, the Cavs the Queens, the Bucks the Princes, and your jester were the Phoenix Suns. I have a feeling it's going to change a little this week.
Some will. I'm actually going to keep Memphis at the top. They've still won 8 out of their last 10. I know they lost the other night, but they're still the hottest team in the West right now. They really did turn things around when they were going in the opposite direction, and they're continuing that trend. So that is your king. I am going to put I'm going to go ahead and this is tough because I know this is what you have done for me lately, but there's a couple teams that have been winning lately and showing that they shouldn't be overlooked. And I know this is the East, and there's essentially 3 great teams in the East that are probably going to come out, but I want to give some love to both the Knicks and Cleveland.
So is that a tie, or are they the next
wait,
two
are we
places on
having
the
a tie
hierarchy?
for Queen?
No, that's the Queen and Prince in whatever order you want to pick. But
No, not whatever order
they've
we
been
want to
win-
pick. It's the
your
Kings
list.
hardwood
It's the
hierarchy.
Kings hardwood
Yeah.
hierarchy. Who's
Then we're going Knicks, Queen, Cavs, Prince. They've been finishing out the year strong. Even though they lost Randall, they haven't had Randall. They've still won 4 in a row.
I love this gimmick more and more every time we do it.
7 out of their last 10.
what in any list you want? It's your list. We don't give a shit.
They deserve it.
I think
who's
they
the
do.
jester? Who's the jester?
Who's the
I love
jester?
it. Listen, I got my guesses. Come on, bring it to me. Who's
Okay,
the
wait,
jester?
no. Now wait a minute. It's the the San Antonio
Pardon
Houston
me.
Memorial Jester of the Year award goes
Detroit. Welcome to the party, Portland. Right? Welcome
Yeah.
to the party, Portland.
Listen, it's Philadelphia.
Oh,
They have been playing 500 ball of late. They're not proven. It's
Currently
like
losing to the
hey,
Boston
we
Celtics
know.
by 5 as we tape.
Yeah, and so like they're still not necessarily out of Cleveland's reach yet for that 3 seed. You can't just kind of coast into the playoffs and expect to have a lot of success. One of those top 3 teams are going to be out in the second round. It's mathematically impossible for it not to happen. So Philadelphia needs to turn it around and step it up. Otherwise, that's going to be them.
that is your King's hardwood hierarchy. Chris King's list of the hardwood hierarchy. We really appreciate that. We are going to do something that we haven't done here before. We're going to elongate a little bit. Fast break. I think it's a fun conversation to have, and I'm the host, so we're going to do it. We're going to do our all NBA teams, and I cannot wait for Rod to destroy me on some of my picks, which will be great. I appreciate that a lot. So all NBA, a lot of things to consider here. I'm going to start off. My one of my all NBA guards is Luka Doncic. I have him on the first team. I think that even though it has been a dismal dismal season for the Mavs. Luka has played with grace, with elegance. He scores a lot of points and he's good. That's why he's on my first team All NBA. Any qualms with that? Anybody else have Luka on their first team? If not, Rod, where is Luka on your All NBA? If he's on there at all.
No, he's my first team guard.
Okay, Chris King.
Yeah, I agree with you. He made my first team.
Okay, Chris King. There we go. All right, Rod, let's go to you. Give me another person on your first team. Who you want to go with?
I'm going to go to the let's just get the guard out of the way. I'm going to go to the other guy I put on the first team guard, and that is one Donovan Mitchell of your Cleveland Cavaliers. The guy's played mostly all year. I have a nod to games played here. Like, I have some guys on here that only played about 55, but that was my lowest mark. But then if you got higher than that, then I bumped you up more teams. So Mitchell plays on the first team.
First team guard was my most difficult. I went back and forth a lot between SGA and Mitchell. I have Mitchell on my second team. So I wonder who's on my first team. But I do have Mitchell on my second team. Chris King, how about Mitchell for you?
I am right there with you, Jimmy. My other guard is SGA. Mitchell made my second team.
I kind of thought that was where we were at. That's why I wanted to go there. I like that. Chris, who give us one of yours now?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to go right to forward. Giannis. I don't think there's any doubt with anybody. He's a first team All NBA.
First name I wrote down.
Yeah.
It's the easiest name to write down. He's been amazing again. He has improved. I love that about Giannis. And in fact, he's MVP. He's still improving.
He's so overlooked for MVP this year. He could easily be MVP.
Who's the best player in the league? Giannis. Okay, he's the MVP. You know,
and who's got the best record in the league? The Bucks. So tell me why Giannis is an MVP.
Because,
here I am arguing for Embiid, but I'm biased.
Because the center that my first team center, Joel Embiid, is my MVP, and he's my first team center. I think we all have Embiid as first team, correct?
Embiid and Giannis. I think the question here is who's the other forward on the first team?
Well,
yeah, I have Embiid as my first team center as well.
All right, Rod, who you got?
I got Jay Tatum as my other first team forward.
Okay. Chris?
I think he's played the year. He's played mostly all year, right? We can't take away how magnificent he was for the beginning stretch for the Celtics. He still basically has been a stabilizing force for him here as they've kind of righted the ships toward the playoffs. He's one of the guys who can get a bucket in a lot of different ways out there. He can play pretty darn good defense, which I think is ultimately why I gave him the bump here over another guy who I just absolutely love. But that's who I got as my other first team forward.
All right, Chris King, who do you have?
Yeah, I have Tatum.
Okay.
Easily. I mean, he's been everything that Boston has needed when they needed it for the most part. He is second overall in estimated wins added. That's a first-team All-NBA player.
Yeah, I think he's been terrific all season. Obviously, ups and downs as the Celtics have gone, but really he's been consistent, and that's what I like to see in a first-team All-NBA. Rod, SGA was on my first team and Chris's as well. Did he make your second team, third team, or not at all for SGA?
He's my he was the first guy I wrote down on the second team. I was like, I knew I went Luka, and then I finished out the first team, and then the first guy I wrote down on the second team was Shea because I knew that I just edged Donovan over him. So absolutely, he's my first second team guard.
Okay, now I think we're going to get some differences moving forward here. Chris King, give me somebody else on your second team All NBA.
We're going to stick with guards. Logo Lillard.
Okay,
he's on my second team.
Whoa.
So Lillard had a great stretch.
58 games played and shut down by his team.
And I couldn't get him on the All-NBA at all. I'm not going to lie. I just couldn't do it. Chris, I'm not mad at you.
I'm not either. He's a great player, but I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it, but he did have a great season. It's just been weird these past couple of weeks, you know? I mean, it really has been when you have someone having a renaissance, a resurgence, another R word, whatever, that
Okay, I'm going to rattle off some stats just
ahead.
So you guys know.
I'm disagreeing, but I'm not saying you're wrong.
Okay,
he's
personal best. Personal best. This 32.2 points per game.
Yes.
A 64.5 true shooting percentage, and 9.5 free throw attempts per game. He's never averaged more points per shot attempt or posted a higher assist percentage than he has this year.
And that's why
the dude has been remarkable. listen, he reached that 55 game threshold, and that's Rod. I agree with you. That's kind of where I was at. I needed to see a guy play about 55 or more games. It's not his fault he got shut down. He has played phenomenal. We had him knocking on the door.
It's his fault that he passed all those other terrible players and Portland's not doing well. He should have been at like 36, 37, and then maybe he'd have made my All-NBA team because Portland be in the playoff chase. This is a ridiculous take out of you, old man.
Rod, you had him knocking on the MVP table one day because he came out with a 50-point game.
No, I said we just needed to give him his respect, which I totally agree with. He's one of my honorable mentions. That's all the respect he's going to get playing for that dumpster fire of a franchise Blazers.
Okay, Rod. So here's the thing. Who's your second team guard? Your other
Ja
guard.
Morant.
Ja Morant. All right.
I got Ja. He played a bunch of games, right? Sure, he had his nonsense. And if we're going to start knocking down NBA players because of nonsense off the court, there's a whole lot of guys that are going to be moved out of Springfield, all right? So let's just, it is what it is. Ja paid his penance, I guess, in the way penance gets paid in 2023 these days. So he played plenty of games. He played magnificently. He's a highlight a night. He's leading a small market franchise. I mean, Ja Morant's got to be my second team guard.
I went back and forth with second and third team for Ja. I moved him to third. He's had a terrific year, and he really hasn't missed that beat since coming back. The Grizzlies are a contender now again, so I really do like Ja. So he's my third team. My second team was De'Aaron Fox. He has an amazing season for the Kings. Got to give our Kings some credit there. And what a turnaround for Fox over the past year. So I really think he deserved the shot at the second team All-NBA. So I've got him there.
Fox not on my ballot.
Fox is not on your ballot. Okay.
Not on my ballot.
How about Jaylen Brown? Is he on your ballot? Because he's my forward for second team.
I have Jaylen Brown on third team.
Okay. Chris King, how about Jaylen Brown for you?
Nope.
Not at all. Wow. How about Fox for you? Anything?
Yeah, I got Fox on the third team.
Fox on the third team for you. Okay. All right.
All right, let me go here, Jim. Do you guys have Jimmy Butler? Because he's a second team forward for me.
Second team forward?
Yes, I have him as a second team forward as well.
I had him third team forward. Okay.
Third team. Jimmy Butler's going to come looking for you, Jimmy. He's probably going to come looking for me for putting him second team.
I love Jimmy Butler. He should still be a Bull. I don't know why they ever let him go.
Because they didn't want to pay him because they didn't think he'd be this good 5 years from now. And look what they would have gotten 5 years of what Jimmy Butler's just been. Would you have taken that in Chicago?
I think we might have taken that from Chicago. Might have. Can I interest you in a Lauri Markkanen anywhere?
On my second team. Butler and Markkanen are my second team forwards.
Chris King, you have Lauri anywhere?
Third team.
Okay. Look at you just hating on the Jazz. You always have hated the people of Utah, Chris. There's something with you and the Mormons, man.
I'm not allowed to speak on anything that may or may not have happened in the state of Utah.
What about Denver? Can we talk about Denver? Jokic
of course, Jokic is second team center. We knew that. That's why none of us brought it up. We all got Jokic as second team center.
Yep.
All right. And Chris King, I think I have a forward from you still that I need.
Second team forward?
Yeah. He's
going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to do it, isn't he? He's going to do it. He's going to put his guy right here, isn't he?
Yeah, I am. You know who I am. It's Julius Randle.
I knew it.
Oh, wow.
Second team's way too high. I considered him for third team, but ultimately he's honorable mention for me.
Yeah, me too. That he's had a hell of a year, though.
Absolutely has, as much as it pains me to say, but he's had a hell of a year.
And he's really been consistent since he's been with the Knicks. He plays all the time, lots of minutes, and he's getting grinded by Thibodeau. So he's putting in the work, and he still constantly gets it done.
You know what else? He's a serviceable defender and doesn't get enough credit for that. He really is a serviceable defender and a pretty good rebounder. So he's a guy that just doesn't kill you on any facet of the game. He's not going to wow you and make any highlights. You know what I mean? He's kind of like an old guy at the Y, sort of, with some of his moves. But man, if he doesn't just get it done.
And again, somebody who the past year has just 180 degrees from where he was this time last year. Knicks fans are ready to drive into the airport for anybody. And they want to trade in for Russell Westbrook in a heartbeat over the summer. Think about that. What would happen? What would have happened there? So I think that he is well deserving there.
Here's where it gets interesting. Third team. Jimmy, just read your third team. That's how we should do it here. You read your third team.
Sabonis is on my third team center.
Okay.
I
Actually,
think
I agree
that's
with you
pretty
there, and I
easy.
bet Chris agrees. I bet we all have Sabonis there. Chris, you got Sabonis as third team center? All right,
Yes.
there we go. So, it's the two
All right.
forwards and the two guards on the third team. This is where we're going to get some wild answers, I bet.
Okay. I really hate my forward pick. I really hate my forward pick.
Oh, no, you might have the same one I do.
better. I'm going to go guard first. I got Steph Curry as third team guard.
So do I.
Okay.
If he plays all 4 of these games for the Warriors this week, he's going to hit 57 games played. And he's been everything for the Warriors because they ain't been much when he hasn't played.
Yes, Chris King is Curry on your
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you got him too. Okay.
Yes.
Nice. I didn't think we'd agree on Steph Curry. I
Wow.
thought I'd be taking crap for not putting Lillard there, not putting Booker there, who's only going to play in 55 games.
Okay, I think forward might be interesting for all of us. Rod, I still need a guard out of you. Who's your guard?
This is going to be the one. This is going to be the one. I can't believe nobody thought of this guy. This guy's only played all year long. He's been the actual consistent force for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards is my third team guard selection.
I can't really argue
That's
with
a
that.
good
That's
pick.
a solid pick. You're wrong. You're not wrong on anything you said.
You're wrong.
He just did not make my cut.
Fox didn't make my cut, right? Like it's just
Okay.
Fox was the one down there for honorable mention for me, and I wanted to give Ant credit because Minnesota seemed cratered, right? And all that happened was they turned the ball over to that kid, and he continues to get to the hole. It continues to improve his 3-point ability and continues to be able to distribute. And Minnesota's looking a little bit more and more like they might stabilize if they get rid of Karl Anthony Towns, Mr. Poopy Face, anytime he doesn't get the ball for as many shots as he wants.
The one reason I like Fox over Ant is the clutch shooting.
You and Clutch.
Fox has
you,
been
Clutch and stock
it's-
with you every time.
I like guys who perform when it matters most. And guys, see, even Hank is
Let's
agreeing
go,
with you
Hank.
right now.
That's it then. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. If Chris is going, if Hammer and Hank is in, I'm wrong. All right, how about
All right,
forwards?
speaking about being wrong, I'm wrong on this. He's played 45 games. It's Kevin Durant. I got Durant.
Yes, he's on mine too. I'm sorry, because when
Listen,
he's
I don't
played,
like myself. I don't like
when
myself.
he's played,
Why not LeBron James or
He-
Kawhi Leonard over him?
Because fuck LeBron James. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
come
No.
on.
And Kawhi.
it was
Come on.
LeBron James was honorable mention for me. I
personal,
did kind of
LeBron.
want to put him there. I just think that Durant has performed better when he's played than what
Durant
LeBron
and Kawhi
has.
are
And
the
I
same
can't take
thing.
anything.
Durant and Kawhi are the same thing, and you guys both scoff at
They are.
Kawhi.
Kawhi's done it for longer.
But Kawhi's played 53 games this year. Durant's only going to get to 49, and Durant blew up one team. Oh, man, that's...
Listen, I'm not
I'm
proud
not
of myself.
happy with who I have on forwards instead of Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant did not make my list.
Well, who do you have?
I have Anthony Davis.
Oh my God.
He's going to play 56 games.
Yeah.
If you're not going to give LeBron James an All NBA spot, and the Lakers are going to maybe end up being possibly even the 5 seed by the end of this week, I mean, I don't know who else then. So I got Anthony Davis as the forward with Jaylen Brown. That's who I got on my.
He's
13.
had 2 stretches where he's been the best player in the league this year. So
He was my honorable mention at center. I had him at a center position, but I went
Honestly, I'd have
Sabonis over him.
Adebayo as actually the fourth.
Adebayo was my
center would be
was-
my
was a
Bam,
big one
and that's why I
there.
put Anthony Davis at forward because Anthony Davis plays more forward than Bam ever does.
So would your first team have changed if with the new rules? I think you have to put if I put Jokic in, I would have Jokic, Embiid, Tatum, Luka, and Giannis. So I'd have SGA out of first team. Would your first team have changed at all?
I probably would have had Mitchell out and Joker in there as much as it would have pained me. But yeah, I probably would have had Mitchell out and I would have went Luka, Giannis, Tatum, and Embiid, Joker.
Okay.
Yep, I probably would have had to do the same thing.
And that is going to do it for the elongated edition of the Fast Break. But that was a lot of fun. We like talking hoops here, and we talked a lot about the NBA. And with that, I believe, Chris, what do you say usually when this happens?
Goodbye, Internet.